Okay. So for these first few moments, I invite you to find a comfortable seated position. If you have a pillow from the couch or from your bed, you can fold it over and just sit up on it just so that your hips are higher than your knees. And when you're all in a nice comfortable seated position, please take one hand to your stomach and one hand to your heart. And we'll all breathe in here together, connecting the body to the breath. You can have your eyes open or you can allow them to close. And we'll begin to breathe. As you sit here in silence, maybe for the first time today, notice the connection between the belly rising as you inhale and the navel draws closer to the spine as you exhale. Every time you initiate a breath, you inhale through the nose and exhale out through the nose. Taking these first few moments to calm the mind, to bridge the gap between the body and the mind. On an inhale, breathe in through your nose. And exhale, long exhale out through the nose as well. A couple more deep breaths here. Check in with the jaw. Bring the tip of the tongue away from the roof of the mouth or the back of the teeth. And on your next exhale, relax the space between your eyes. Together, take one final breath in. And on the exhale, sigh out the mouth. You can make it nice and audible. Let the stress of the day roll off the tops of your shoulders. Allow them to draw down away from the ears. And when you're ready, we're going to start to begin some gentle movement. So, if you have a pillow or a block or any kind of prop underneath your seat bones, you can take that right out. And we'll all come down to a crisscross applesauce position. Legs are crossed. You can take your knees right to your hands. And we're going to go through a couple of seated cat-cows just to bring some movement into the spine. So on an inhale, it's going to look like this. With your hands on your knees, you inhale, push the chest forward, lift up through the chin. And on your exhale, you round through the spine, push the knees away from you. Bring the chin into the chest. Inhale, lift. Exhale, round and push. Inhale, lift. Exhale, round and push. One more time. Inhale, lift. Really spread those collarbones. Lift up, maybe look up. Exhale, push away. Maybe even flex your hands. Push them against your knees as you round and bring the chin into the chest. You may feel this in your armpits and into your chest. One more. I lied. Let's go. One more time. Inhale, lift up and pull the knees into the body. Exhale, push the knees away. Flex the fingertips. Push and round. All right, so from these cat-cows, you can kind of come into a nice little shimmy motion. Just getting those shoulders moving. You can even take both shoulders back in circles. And then maybe go forward. You can do them both together or you can go individually. Backwards or forwards. And as you come back to a point of stillness, we're going to do a couple of twists here to get in more to the side bodies. And we just got through the weekend, right? So let's wring out those organs and let's wring out all of those muscles. Inhale the arms up to frame the head. Relax the shoulders away from the ears. Take one more deep inhale, get tall here, and then exhale. Turn to the right, taking the left hand to the right knee, and the right fingertips come behind you. You twist fully, look over to the right. Stay nice and tall here. You inhale to get tall to the crown of the head. Exhale, release and come back forward. Inhale, lift the arms up. Relax the shoulders away from here as you're exhaling and turning to the left. Right hand to the outer left knee, and the left hand comes behind you. You inhale to get tall, and exhale, release back through center. So let's try that one more time because it's a beautiful union of both the movement and the breath, which is the entire point of yoga, that yoke and that union of breath to movement. So we inhale the arms up to frame the head. Exhale. This is all at once. You relax your shoulders and then twist to the right. You inhale to get tall. Exhale, come back forward. Inhale the arms up, and all at once, exhale, relax the shoulders and twist to the left. Inhale to get tall. Exhale, come back forward. Awesome. All right. So now that we've done a couple of those, you can shimmy it out a little bit. Get some movement in those shoulders. Because I don't know about you, but I definitely hold a ton of stress in the tops of my shoulders, right up into the back of my neck. Especially if some of you are working at home, you're really staring at a lot of screens. So it's really important to stay nice and loose in the top of the shoulders and the back of the neck, yeah? Because that all stems right into the back of our head, which has a direct connection through the brain to our eyes. Those are called your suboccipitals. They're very, very important, and they are constantly in overuse and being strained because we are staring at screens all day long and sometimes also deep into the evening. So it's really super important to be able to stretch these muscles. So I guess actually, before we move into a little bit more movement, we are going to do one more seated series of movements, which will stretch the sides of the neck and as well as the back of the neck. So I'm going to invite you to, from this nice seated position, your hands can be on your knees right now. You're just going to really think about softening the tops of your shoulders away from the ears. Usually we're hiking them up, whether we have a bag on the shoulder or we're on the phone constantly or we're holding a baby. There's a lot of different scenarios where you're constantly, or even driving actually, you're really hiking your shoulder, which is a very common one as well. So let's get into, this is an awesome series of stretches that you can even do in the shower while you have some heat on the back of your neck and shoulders. So I invite you to bring your chin down to your chest. So bring that right down. Go ahead and breathe into that. If you'd like more here, you can take your hands to the back of your head, interlace them to the back of the head. Gently pull the chin into the chest. On your inhale, you lift up and away, spreading the elbows apart. Yeah. All right. So go ahead and slowly release those fingertips. Roll the right shoulder over to the right ear. With your ear against that right shoulder. If you would like more here, you can take the left hand, the opposite hand, and reach down and away toward the ground. And if you'd like even more than this, you can take your right hand to the top of your head and gently pull the right ear into the right shoulder. Breathe very deeply here. If this is too much, you can release the left hand or the top. You don't have to do that. If you're feeling enough of the side compartment of your neck lighting up while you're stretching here, just make sure that you're breathing into that, sending breath right to the side of the neck. And when you've had enough of this, exhale, roll the chin down to the chest, and then inhale, come over to the left side, bringing the left ear to the left shoulder. And if you'd like to reach away with the right fingertips, you can, which will really light up the right side of the neck that's being stretched here. And if you want more, you can then bring the left hand to the top of the head and gently pull the left ear into the left shoulder. And breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. Please continue to breathe here. I see a couple more people have joined us this evening. Hello, Teresa, Anthony. Hello, Seth. Hello, JJ. Good to have you guys here. Thank you for tuning in. All right, to all of those who are still pulling that left ear into the left shoulder, slowly release that hand. Bring both hands to your knees. Roll the chin back down through center. And on your inhale, stack the neck. Nice neutral alignment, coming back to a beautiful, nice neutral spine and neck alignment. Okay, let's get into a little bit more movement here, shall we? Okay, so we're gonna go through a couple of sun A's just to build a little bit of heat. And then we're gonna do a lot of groundwork, getting into the wrists and the hands, and also lots of leg work today, okay? So, for those of you who just joined us, hi, welcome. And let's get started, shall we? All right. So on your mat, you can come into a nice kneeling position. This is called Seiza. And we're going to plant our hands, step the knees back so that the knees are stacked directly underneath the hip joints. And you're going to look at your hands, make sure your wrists are stacked directly under the shoulder joints, okay? This is called tabletop position. You can't see my feet right now, but the tops of your feet here, if I move forward a little bit, the tops of the feet are against the mat and you're activating them. Really, really pushing the tops of the feet into the mat, okay? So, I move back here, so I'm in the center of the camera. So you're pushing the tops of the feet into your mat. You're in this nice tabletop position. Let's build a little bit of heat here. So to get into a little bit of balance to begin, on an inhale, raise your left leg behind you and your right arm forward as if you were shaking my hand. Really draw up through the belly. Focus on the back toes. I want that foot to look like this. You see that flexion in the ankle as if you could put a footprint on the back wall. That's what I'm looking for. Stay nice and active through that leg. Draw up into the belly. One more deep inhale, and on an exhale, release the hand and the foot. On your next inhale, lift the left arm forward, right leg back. Once again, nice flexion in that foot. Yeah. So you're staying nice and flexed, drawing up into the belly button. So when I say to engage your core, this is a wonderful, wonderful cue when you think about being on the beach and someone cute walks by and you have to kind of suck it in. That's that core engagement that I'm looking for. That's what I'm talking about. Okay? So you're here. You're breathing in through your core, really drawing that belly button right up into the spine. And on your next exhale, you may release the hand and the leg to the ground. Recheck all of your alignment here because the class is called Align, right? So recheck that alignment. And now what we're going to do is you're going to reach your hands forward, tuck the back toes, lift the hips, coming up into your down dog. Yeah? So, we're going to talk about the spacing in between the hands and the feet of down dog and plank. It should be a very fluid, rhythmic, breath to movement kind of flow. And so what that's going to look like is you're going to come from down dog. You're going to lift up to your tippy toes, glide forward to upper push-up position. So notice how my hips are still lifted here. What you're going to do is you're going to walk the feet back and then send the heart forward. And when you send the heart forward, that means that your shoulders will stack directly over the wrists. And look at my back, look at my feet right now. So I have the heels stacked directly over the toes. A lot of people will do this. That is not proper alignment. If we want to protect the back of our legs, you really need to stack the ankles and the heels directly over the toes. So now you're in this nice plank position. You're really, if you need to lower both of the knees down and untuck the toes, that is absolutely fine. It's a proper modification, especially if you get pain in your wrists while you're in this position. And we'll talk about that in a moment here too, okay? So, from this plank position, now on your exhale, you're going to bend the elbows in toward the side bodies and lower all of the way down to the mat in one piece. Untuck the toes when you arrive if they aren't already untucked. You inhale up for a little baby cobra. Exhale, release. Tuck the toes, push up through hands and knees, and then send the hips back to down dog. Okay? Awesome. Okay. So that's kind of a very typical version of a flow. And then I'm going to lead you through the next portion of that, which is from your down dog. So you're in this down dog. Heels are lower toward the earth. On an inhale, look between your hands. Exhale, step, walk, or jump, feet to hands. Now you're going to forward fold at the top of your mat. You're going to inhale up for a halfway lift. The hands can fly back behind you or fingertips can come to the top of the thighs. Then you exhale to release. Inhale, come all the way up. Sweep the arms up. Grab the left wrist with the right hand and exhale over to the right. Inhale, back up through center. Switch the grip. Exhale over to the left. See how flexed my fingers are? I'm spreading them. Inhale, back up. Switch. Exhale over to the right. Inhale, back up. Switch. Nice and flexed. Exhale over to the left. Inhale up. And then you're going to swan dive right down over those legs. Inhale up for a halfway lift. Nice flat back. Exhale and fold. So now from here, you're going to plant your hands and step back to upper push-up position. So that's a full sun A. So now that you've planted your hands, you're back in that push-up position. Now, on your exhale, you bend the elbows in toward the side bodies. Make sure that the inner part of your arm is touching the side body as you lower down in one piece. You don't want it to look like a push-up, right, with your elbows out. You want to keep those elbows in, and then you lower all of the way down. You untuck the toes when you arrive. You inhale up for a little baby back bend. It's super small. Exhale, release. Tuck the toes, and then lift up, sending the hips back. You're back in this down dog now, right? So, from the down dog, on an inhale, look between your hands. Exhale, step, walk, or jump, feet to hands. There at that forward fold. You inhale up for that halfway lift. Exhale, release. Inhale, come all the way up. Sweep the arms up. You forward fold right over those legs again. Inhale up for a halfway lift. And exhale, release. Plant those hands. Step it back to upper push-up position. If you need to lower the knees down and untuck the toes, you absolutely may. So long as you are engaging the core and sucking that belly button in, you're still going to get the same core workout. And then when you're ready, on your exhale, bend the elbows in toward the side bodies. Lower all of the way down to the mat in one piece. When your body reaches the mat, untuck the toes. Inhale up for that little baby cobra. Exhale, release. Awesome. So now tuck the toes. Inhale, push up, and then exhale. Send the hips back toward the back of your mat. Now you're back in that down dog. Excellent. Okay, awesome. I would like everyone to take their knees to the mat. You can untuck the toes and just come back to a seated position. We're going to talk about hand and wrist alignment, because I did have a couple of questions from some very good friends of mine, so I'd like to address those. So basically, I'm going to try to mimic this for you. Hi, Amanda. Thanks for joining. So what we're going to talk about is the difference between a lifted hand and then a totally flat hand. So I'm using this little prop to kind of show you that there can be space underneath your index knuckle joint, which will then kind of create a lot of tension and weight in the bottom of the wrist. So there are 4 points of contact in the hand, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? So in order to really make sure that we're evenly pouring weight into each one of those 4 points, to get rid of any, if anyone has arthritis or even just general discomfort in your wrist when we are in down dog or when we are in plank, then this is a wonderful way for you to address that issue. And if that doesn't work for you, I will show some other ways to do that. And if you still have more questions, please feel free to message me and ask me those questions. I also do private lessons, so you can hit me up and we can do this one-on-one, so I can actually watch your flow and your alignment and kind of help you through that. Okay? So those 4 points of contact. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hello, Tim. Nice of you to join us. Hello. So you're going to kind of look at your hands. So you can all actually come up into down dog. Let's do down dog, because there's a ton of wrist discomfort right at the bottom here where the wrist meets the bottom of the palm, right? So we want to eliminate that as much as we can. One thing, since you're at home, if you're practicing on a carpeted surface with your mat on top of a carpet, there's a lot of squish that will actually hyperextend your wrist. And I've actually been learning that slowly but surely. It's a rather painful lesson to learn. So if you're practicing on a carpet, get off the carpet, get onto a harder surface. And if you need more squish for your knees, then put a blanket under your knees, and then you should be fine for other poses that require a lot of weight on the knee. But for those hands, especially for any musicians who are watching, anyone who uses their hands, other massage therapists, and just generally anyone that you know that suffers from hand, knuckle, or wrist pain, okay? Or discomfort. So once again, sometimes it'll look like this. And you can see that space that's created right here in that knuckle, because what we do is we pour all of the weight into that outer pinky side of the hand. We don't focus on this little junction here, where the saddle joint, we only have 2 saddle joints in our body, and that's both thumbs. They're very special, so we need to protect that. So in order to protect that joint and the bottom of the wrist, you need to seal the rest of the hand to the mat. So instead of that space that you get, you really have to push the weight evenly into that index, the index and the thumb joint. So really focus on pouring weight into this side of your hand, okay? So it'll look like, you can look at your hands and you can see that space there, and then seal that entire palm to the mat, okay? So in your down dog, you're going to look forward into your hands and kind of see if there's a little bit of space underneath those pointer fingers. Push through the index finger joint. Really like spreading those fingers into the mat as if you were a gecko on a pane of glass, okay? So that is my my hand and wrist shtick. And you can also, this is also an applicable rule for when you're in plank pose. Once again, tons of weight on the wrist. Really a lot, because you're stacking those wrists directly under the shoulders and you're sending that heart forward. So there's a lot of weight, especially if you're on a squishy surface. It's going to just kink that, and it's not going to be comfortable. So in order to get rid of that super extended, that hyperextended wrist motion, you really have to spread the fingers wide. Push weight into these 2 knuckles and spread those fingers into the mat, okay? So that's all I'll say about that for now. That was a nice mini anatomy lesson about hands and wrists and how to get rid of some of that discomfort. You can also, in plank position, if this is not working for you, you can come down to forearms and kind of make a triangle, and I'll show you that right now, okay? So, plank position is that upper push-up position where you're stacked with your wrists directly under. If this is too much on your wrists, if you find yourself shaking your wrists out and just finding a lot of discomfort, you can lower down to elbows. You can have your hands flat against the ground. You can have them in fists. You can have them in sphinx arms, which are both fingers pointing parallel toward the front of your mat. And so, now, yep, you're going to stack that so the shoulders over the elbows, and you're down on your forearms instead. You can always lower the back knees down and untuck the toes, okay? So you have a couple of different options here. So that's a really great one too. So if that really isn't working for your wrist still, then please lower down to that modification that I just offered and see if that works for you, okay? Awesome. So let's see here. I think that it's time that we get into some leg work, because I know that legs were definitely a requested item on today's class. So let's start. Now that we've built some of that heat, you might be sweating a little bit. I certainly am here, because talking and doing the motions is not an easy feat. But I hope that this is all making sense to you. Please let me know if you can't hear me. Please let me know if you have any questions that are popping up for you, and I will try my best to address them, okay? All right, so let's get into some leg work. We're going to start seated. So your legs are going to be nice and long in front of you. Your feet are still nice and flexed, as if you could put footprints on the front wall. All right, so legs are nice and extended here. Inhale, both arms up. And in one swift motion, relax the shoulders away from the ear. And as you exhale, you forward fold over the legs. Your hands may come to the knees, to the shins, to the ankles, or to the toes. Wherever they go, just kind of relax and let the gravity do the work here. This is a seated forward fold. We just did a couple of forward folds when we were flowing through those sun A's when we were standing. This one's a seated one. There's a lot, well, I think there's a lot of gravity involved in both, actually, now that I say that out loud. Obviously, there's a lot of gravity here, right? You're kind of relaxing the neck down. It's a gentle rounding through the shoulders. You're not hunching. Remember to bring those shoulders away from the ears as you're here. Nice relaxed neck. Keep those feet nice and flexed. Slowly release the hands from the feet, and on an inhale, rise back up, stacking the shoulders over the hips. Let's kind of give them a little pitter-patter. Get some blood flowing through, maybe windshield wiper them a little bit. We're going to bring the right foot into the sole, so the sole of the right foot into the left inner thigh, okay? You're going to turn your shoulders toward that left foot. Left foot is still nice and flexed, yes. Left leg is extended long. Turn the shoulders toward the left leg. Inhale the arms up and exhale. Round and fold. Bring those shoulders away from the ears and relax the neck down. If you'd like more of a side body stretch here, take the right fingertips to the top of the shin or the knee or the wrist or the toes, and then try to look underneath. Look up toward the ceiling, yeah? And that gets right into this entire side body. All right, slowly bring the shoulders back down, squaring them to the ground, and then inhale, rise up, stacking the shoulders over the hips. Release the right foot, bring the left foot in. So now your right foot leg is fully extended, foot is nice and flexed. Left foot is against the right inner thigh. Inhale, sweep those arms up to frame the head. Exhale, forward fold over the right leg, coming right on down into this single right-legged forward fold. Breathing deeply here, in through the nose and out through the nose. If you'd like to get into that side body stretch, you can take the left hand to the top of the shin, knee, or toes and look underneath the armpit, looking up toward the ceiling, yeah? You may feel this in your armpit, you may feel this in the side body of the left side body. It's just a really beautiful way to liven that up. Slowly release this, bring the shoulders back down to frame the right leg, and on an inhale, crawl your hands back up into your pelvis and rise for a nice neutral spine alignment, okay? Beautiful. Let's get into a little bit of hip work here. You're going to bring the soles of your feet together. You can interlace your hands and then bring them around your toes. Relax those knees out, kind of like a butterfly. If you'd like to get into some movement here, just a little bit, you can bounce them like this, or you can stay still. You're going to inhale and get nice and tall. And as you go forward, I'd like you to think about bringing the belly button toward the big toe, okay? So what that does is that allows for a really nice straight back as you bow forward. See how straight my back is? If not, if you rise back up and release that, if you do that without thinking about bringing the belly button to the big toe, what will happen is you will round through the shoulders and you'll go like this. You may get lower toward your feet, but that's really not good for your low back. So really bring the shoulder blades onto the back, broaden across the chest and the collarbones, grabbing and squeezing those toes. You inhale, get nice and tall through the crown of the head, and then exhale. When you bow forward, you think about bringing the belly button to the big toe, and you stay nice and tall. All right. Breathing in through the nose, out through the nose. I actually feel this more in my shoulders than I do in my hips. For some of you, it might be the total opposite, which is awesome. This is technically a hip opener. It gets into your inner thighs. It gets into the back of your hips. Gets into those hip creases. And if a lot of us are sitting and working all day at home, this is definitely a good one to do when you're done at work. All right, so slowly on an inhale, begin to rise back up, release the hands, extend both legs long out in front of you, give them a nice little pitter-patter. Very good, very good. All right, so what we're going to do from here is I invite you to take both of your legs out long off of the mat. So in this nice like wide-legged split. And while you're in this nice wide-legged split, we're just going to crawl down to your degree. So you say nice and flex. You see how my toes are pointed toward the ceiling? That's that flexion in the ankle I'm talking about. And you're going to crawl down to your degree. You can grab a pillow or a block to support your forehead if you get down close enough. If you reach here and you can't go any further, please don't push it. I want you to listen to your body here right now and be present in what you're feeling. Is your mind wandering? Hopefully not. I'm yammering you enough that there should be enough for you to concentrate on, right? So, take a nice deep breath in and exhale. Maybe you get a little further toward the ground. Continue to breathe and crawl down to your degree. You're going to feel this on the inner thighs, right on those inner thighs, maybe in the back, maybe even in the low back and up to the mid back. Wherever you're feeling this, breathe into it and listen to your body. Stop if there is any pain, if there's any shooting, stabbing, hot, searing pains, please come out of this and back up. Back up. Discomfort we can breathe through. Pain you should not have to be breathing through, okay? There's a difference. So go ahead and lower down to your degree. And breathe. Check in with the feet. Make sure they're nice and flexed. On an inhale, begin to crawl your hands back in toward the pelvis, coming back up, stacking the shoulders over the hips. Take your hands to the outer edges of your knees and help your legs to close like a book. Walking them in as many steps as it takes to get them back. Give them a nice pitter-patter. Bring blood flow back to them. A couple of windshields, just letting the feet splay open, closed, open, closed. That's what your feet should look like. Awesome. All right. So now from here, we're going to do a couple more leg movements. And then we're going to get into some hips. Actually, this next one is kind of, it's a full body twist with some leg extensions. So it kind of specifies on the legs to get into the full body twist. So what's going to happen is you're going to, with your legs extended still out in front of you, I want you to bring your hands up parallel. And what we're going to do is this is some nice core work here. We're going to tuck the tailbone, hollow out the belly, like scoop it out, and begin to lower down. Make sure your feet are nice and flexed. No relaxed feet here, okay? And then go ahead and roll down to your degree. So as you're rolling, you're scooping the tailbone, slowly lowering. With every exhale, you get a little lower. Inhale, hold. Exhale, a little lower. Inhale, hold. I'm shaking, are you? Exhale, lower. Inhale, hold. Exhale, lower. Inhale, hold. Once you reach the ground, the arms come up overhead. Point the toes away from you. Full body stretch, then bring the arms down along your sides. So right now, you're laying down on your mat fully. Legs are extended. The arms are down along your sides. Okay? So from here, what we're going to do, we're going to come into some full body twists here. All right, so what that's going to look like, let me see here. This is going to be interesting. So you're going to, here's what we're going to do. So you're on your back. Shoulder blades are melted into the ground. Arms are down along your sides. Go ahead and tent both of your knees so they kind of look like this. So they're tented. On an inhale, I would like you to extend the right leg up toward the ceiling. Nice flexion. And what that flexion in the ankle does is it protects the back of your knee and your calf from any muscle spasms. I would like you to lower the left leg to the ground. So the left leg is nice and straight. The right leg is up. You can hold the back of the knee if that helps you to keep it up. If your leg is here or even lower to the ground, that's fine. You have to accept that that's where you are. And that's absolutely fine. I've been doing yoga since I was 10, so if your practice does not look like mine, that doesn't mean anything, okay? So what we're going to do from here is we're going to take the left hand to the outside edge of the right knee. Take the right arm out long off the mat in a capital T position. Guide the right leg across the body, and you come into this twist, okay? You can look out over the right palm, over the right arm if that's comfortable for your neck. Beautiful. Breathe here. Flex through both ankles. Nice action through both of the legs. Okay, so to come out of this, you're going to bend the right knee in toward the chest and then slowly bring it back up through center with your left hand to help it get back up there, right? Awesome. You're going to lower that right leg down, bring the left knee into the chest, extend the right leg down, extend the left leg all the way up, and then from here, take the right hand to the outside edge of the left knee and then guide it across the body. Left arm is out long. You can look out over that. And breathe. Okay? So that's that really nice. It's a supine twist is what it's called. It gets into your low back with the arms out in that capital T position. And then it gets right into your chest, into your pecs. So this is a full body twist. You're wringing out your muscles. You're wringing out your organs of any toxins left over from the weekend. If you haven't been drinking water throughout this hour, please, you gorgeous people, drink some water. All right. So if you're still here, you're going to bend the left knee into the body and then bring it back up through center. Bring that foot down to the mat. So now your left foot is against the mat with the left knee tented, right? So let's get into some hips from here, okay? So from here, your left knee is tented. Left knee is tented. I want you to bring the right knee into your chest, bend, and then cross the right ankle over that left knee. And then you can push the right knee forward, and that'll get right into this outer hip here. And then on an inhale, you can bring that left leg up. You see how flexed my ankle is, yeah? And then if you need even more from here, you can extend the left leg up. And you breathe. You breathe a lot. You can really pull that leg in toward the chest, and all the while pushing the right elbow into the right knee. Breathe very deeply here. Really stay focused on sending the breath to the outer right hip. Bend the left leg to release that back thigh. Bring your arms out in that capital T position, and then lower the entire formation over to the left. Look out over your right arm, and what that does is that brings you back into a supine twist with an accentuated hip stretch on top of it. So you're doing the supine twist, and you're also doing what this is called reclined pigeon, crossing that ankle over the knee, pushing into that knee to get right into the outer hip is called reclined pigeon. This is a hip opener. It's a wonderful pose that you can do after you've been sitting at work all day. You can even do this pose in your work chair while you're at work. Okay? So you're breathing into this reclined pigeon here, yeah? So you're in that twisted reclined pigeon. So on an inhale, bring this entire formation back up through center. Release the left foot to the ground. And then once that foot meets the ground, you may undo the right ankle from the left knee. Bring that foot down to meet the left. Bring both knees into your chest on an inhale. Grab around them. Bring your forehead in. Roll into a ball. Roll back and forth. Get a little bit of movement here. And we'll come into this reclined pigeon on the right. Yeah? So, relax your shoulders into the earth. Plant the right foot to the ground. On an inhale, lift the left leg up into the chest. Cross the left ankle over your right knee. Now you're coming into this on the right. So you can push that left knee forward, and you'll start to feel that in the outer left hip. And then if you want more, you inhale, bring the right knee into the chest, grab around, stay nice and flexed through both feet. And if you need even more of a hip stretch, you can straighten the right leg and push the right elbow into the right, or the left elbow into the right knee, excuse me. So you breathe here. You can rock back and forth, get a little bit of movement if that feels nice on your low back. And now, to come into this twist, you can stay here for as long as you want to. You don't have to take this twist. If this is enough for you and you are loving the sensations that you're getting in your left hip, then that's absolutely fine. You can stay right here. If you'd like to come into this twist, you release both arms down along your sides and bring the entire formation over toward the right. You can look out over your left hand, and now you're in this supine twist with the reclined pigeon intensifier. So what that's doing for you is that's getting right into, if you know anyone who has sciatic pain or any hip issues, sciatic pain can be characterized by nerve pain, whether it's heat or stabbing or tingling. You can feel like electricity going down the back of your leg. And it's a very, very painful syndrome called piriformis syndrome or sciatic pain. So doing these stretches, even when you're at work sitting in a chair, is a really, really wonderful way to open your hips while you're stuck in this sedentary lifestyle, yeah? So if you want to go ahead and on an inhale, bring that formation back up through center, lower the right leg to the ground, unhook the ankle from the knee, bring both feet down to the mat, and now you're completely out of this supine twist, reclined pigeon, okay? So let's see here. How are we doing on time? Oh, we're doing wonderful. Awesome sauce. Okay, so the title of the class is called Align and Meditate. So we're going to do just a little bit more movement and then come into a period of stillness to get more acquainted with the quiet and the stillness that is within each of us, okay? So for these last couple of movements, I invite you to grab a pillow of some kind. Couch pillow, bed pillow, if you have a yoga block at home or a bolster or a meditation cushion, any of these things is wonderful because these last couple of movements are all going to be supported. And so to start, what we're going to end up doing is we're going to so I'm going to use a meditation cushion, and you're going to take that and you're going to put that right underneath the small of your back. So you can set that down behind you and then scoot your butt right back up against it so it's right against your hips, okay? So then what we're going to do, you're going to lean back over it. Your knees are still tented. Your feet are flat on the floor, right? And then you're just going to relax back onto it. So this is what's called a modified half bridge. This modified half bridge, you have the pillow or the bolster or block underneath the small of your back. So it should be right at that bony part of your low back. It's technically where the sacrum meets the pelvis. So it's where the bottom of the spine meets your hips, if that makes sense. So you have this pillow directly under. It's lifting your hips nice and tall. There's not a lot of active movement here within the muscles, not a lot of active engagement, rather, is what I mean to say. So that active engagement of you engaging muscles and toning the muscles, that's what a lot of people look for in yoga. And sometimes people look for these passive stretches where it's about gravity doing the work and using your body weight to pull and create space and elongation in muscles and in joints, tendons and ligaments, all that jazz. So this one is a very nice, relaxed, passive stretch to get right into your low back. And you just keep the hips nice and rested on that pillow. And you're breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Beautiful. Keep breathing here. Just feel the space within the low back. In between every vertebrae. By doing this, you're creating a little bit more space, a little more elongation. It's a very relaxing feeling. And every time that you exhale, try to bring a little more softness to an area where you might be feeling tension in the body, okay? So nice deep breaths in through the nose and long exhales out. All right, so we're going to come into a couple of last final positions here before we get into Shavasana and meditation. So, right now, you're in your reclined, modified, supported bridge. Yes? So you have that pillow right underneath the small of your back, your knees are tented, and your relaxed back. What I would like you to do is from here, extend both legs up toward the ceiling. The pillow is still underneath the small of your back. If you'd like to hold the knees, you can, but if you find that you're reaching too much with your shoulders, I want you to try to relax that. If the legs come down and you can't get them straight up, that's absolutely fine. Accept where you are and breathe into the sensations that you're feeling within the body, okay? You can practice pointing the toes, flexing the feet, pointing, flexing, pointing, maybe making little circles. And what this is doing is this is draining all the energy back down into your core to give you a little bit of an energy boost. If you're feeling pretty tired in the middle of the day, if your sleep schedule is off, this is a great way to kind of give yourself a natural energy boost. You're going to be sending all the energy right back down to your core. We spend a lot of time on our feet. We spend a lot of time sitting. And all that energy is just getting stuck down in the tips of our toes and our ankles and our feet. So, at the end of a practice of movement, it's always really nice. Or even just throughout the day, if you just need a moment to kind of regain yourself and your energy to get through the rest of the day, this is a wonderful option. So you guys are still up in this position, yeah? Legs extended. So go ahead and lower the legs to the ground, plant the feet, lift up, remove the bolster, slowly bring the hips and pelvis back down. Hell yeah, Vine, I got you. And so what you're going to do, from here, so your knees are tented and on the ground, and I'd like you to bring both knees into the chest, take your hands to your knees, roll around in a nice circle. And then when you've had enough, so this is going to be, the end of class is Shavasana and meditation. So you can extend the legs nice and long in front of you. And I'm going to give us a nice 5-minute Shavasana, and then I will bring us into meditation for the last few minutes of class, okay? So right now you can extend your legs nice and long out in front of you. The legs and the feet naturally just kind of splay right open. There's no controlled movements here. There's no controlled breath. This is all about just letting the body absorb that hour of movement that you just kind of put yourself through. You know, you showed up today, you did the work, you tuned in. Thank yourself for that. Give yourself a little smile. Relax the tip of the tongue away from the roof of the mouth, and on your next exhale, relax the space between the eyes. Your hands are down along your sides. The palms can be open or the palms can be face down. Whatever's clever for you right now, just to get into this brief moment of relaxation. Allow your mind to be clear. Focus on the inhalations and the exhalations. Let them flow freely. And when this portion is over, I will bring you out of it with my voice, okay? Your eyes can be open or they can be closed. Together, take a breath in and a long sigh out. Start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Bring yourself out of this Shavasana, bringing your attention back to your limbs as well as to the room around you. For these last few minutes of class, I will be guiding a silent meditation. I will give some prompts and cues along the way to keep your mind anchored. If you'd like to remain lying down on your back in Shavasana, you may. And if you would like to come up to a seated position, you may also do that. I'm going to grab a prop for myself to sit up on for these last few minutes. That is always an option as well. All right. So for this guided meditation, I will be bringing your attention to 3 different anchors. That's going to be the attention to breath, noticing your inhales and exhales. You can choose to focus on bodily sensations. For example, if I sit right now and focus on my bodily sensations, I feel a very, very intense tightness in the top of my left shoulder. And my other shoulder, you can even see in the camera that my right shoulder is actually lower than my left shoulder. So feeling that tightness in the top of this left shoulder as I begin to breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. On every exhale, I bring a little bit more softness to that area. And lastly, the last anchor that you can use is the sound around you. So whether it's your furnace kicking on, if it's birds outside, if you have children or animals running around the house, you can tune into that. Don't get too caught up in the noise. Just allow it to exist around you and to keep you rooted in the present moment. Your eyes can be opened or they can be closed. Let's come into some moments of silence together. Check in with your mind. Has it drifted away from where you are right here and right now? Take a breath in through the nose and a long breath out. Allow your shoulders to melt away from the ears or into the mat. Feel your body get heavy and grounded. Taking the time to be still in the present moment can help you to quell the constant chatter between the left and right hemispheres of the brain. It scientifically shrinks the amygdala, which is the main center of our flight and fight responses, which I'm sure for everyone right now is somewhat or another in high gear. Taking moments to sit with your breath and to just be instead of worrying about what is to come will absolutely 100% scientifically help you to ride this storm out, to be as present as you can within your own mind and your own body, to not get swept up in the stories that our mind creates when under a certain amount of stress and duress. Together, take a breath in and a long sigh out the mouth. Wherever you are right now, bring your hands to heart center, press the thumbs into the heart space, bow the head to the heart, lift the heart to the head, bring the two closer together. Thank you so much for joining me on this Tuesday evening. I do teach tomorrow at 9 a.m. It's a faster flow-paced class. So if you want to sweat and you want to move a little bit quicker than this evening, that is definitely the class for you. The light and the truth in me sees that and honors it in each of you. Namaste, everyone. Thank you so much for showing up today. It means so much to me that you tune into this. I love seeing all of your names pop up. It really just means the world to me that I'm able to bring this all to you.